Check out the description of the video. This video might feature scenes some viewers could find upsetting, so please watch with discretion. Nature's forest stands as a stunning display of beauty, resilience, and raw power, but everything within it must obey the ruthless laws of nature. Tonight, my narrator is reminded of what can happen when humans forget that harsh reality. I'm David Johnson, and this is Are You Spooked? The show where I share the internet's most terrifying stories with my friend Michael. So lock your doors, switch off the lights, and let's see if we can make it through this night without jumping out of our skins. Tonight's story is about the forest protectors. It all begins with a trip that went terribly wrong, a journey that only a modern-day sponsor could save us from, like Bombas. Ever been freezing on an international flight, drained and cramped in a tiny seat after a long day of airports and walking? Your legs aching in the sky? Fear not, your feet are in luck. Bombas makes premium basics with a heart-comfy t-shirts, underwear, slippers, and the softest socks about. For every item sold, they donate one to someone in need, over 150 million so far. Slip into their all-day compression socks that gently support your legs with graduated compression and a honeycomb support that hugs your feet. No annoying seams. You'll feel the difference immediately. And if you happen to lose a sock in your hotel in Chicago, Bombas offers a 100% happiness guarantee, free returns and exchanges for any reason, plus worldwide shipping to over 200 countries. Do some good with your purchase and enjoy 20% off your first order at bombas.com/visitor with the code SPOOKED. Now, back to the story. A chilling letter from 1911 begins it all, penned by a man with little to show for his life but quiet authenticity. He writes, 30 years later, I still reflect on what I've accomplished or didn't. My life here in Boston has been unremarkable but peaceful. If anyone doubts this story, come see me, and I'll answer any questions. Why 1911? Well, that's the year before the Titanic sank. Don't ask me how I know that so quickly. He continues, if I'm dead when you read this, I hope you're snooping because I'd want my story told. I was young when the bullying started, some from classmates, mostly from my father, a big man who wasn't much for hands-on work but kept us fed and sheltered with his strength. He was fearless. I remember going on hunting trips with him, though I was fragile and never shared his love for it. He admits it disappointed him, and I was glad he never forced me to hunt. His father's idea of hunting was just for water, a secret well he visited away from everyone. Not joking, that's their little secret. The man recalls his father's relentless toil, the meager wages, and how after his father died, they were broke. By 19, he had little more than some cash and an old watch dear to his father, worth nothing but precious because of love. Still, he yearned to make both fortune and reputation. He had a cousin, Thomas, who'd gone west to build a cabin in Oregon's wilderness near Puget Sound. Sometimes, he thought his father wished Thomas was his son. Thomas had written about a bounty on grizzly bears, fierce creatures, plentiful and becoming a menace to settlers and farmers, prompting many to hunt them. I've gotta say, this story hits close to home for you. You really don't like bears, do you? True. I remember hearing about the dominant bear in Banff called the Boss, who fathered most of the cubs in the area, a real specimen. He even predates and kills other bears. That's a tough SOB. He offers to let his cousin stay in his cabin for summer while he's away on business, and driven by pride and a desire to prove himself, he hops a train out west. Oregon's wild, with hills and mountains blending into one, trees reaching for the stars and rivers rivaling oceans in size. His first sign of trouble. At the Oregon livery stable he tried to rent a horse, but they refused, warning him, once they go there, they never come back. He trades his father's watch to cover a ride, trusting to get it back later, and ends up with Pumpkin, a gentle old horse with a saggy back, the perfect companion for his summer trek. Getting to the cabin, he's overwhelmed by the scenery, towering trees, rushing streams, and wildlife that leaves him in awe, thinking he's destined to find and hunt a grizzly. Yeah, this reminds me of Red Dead Redemption 2. What do you think about his chances? Honestly, about 10%. The story's set up for the worst, and if he started this journey thinking he'd kill a bear and make a name, things are probably going to go sideways. Well, he wrote this story 30 years later, so he survived at least. Maybe he got the legendary bear, I dunno. He tells us what one man can do, another can too. Is that from The Edge? Yeah, probably. Laughs then, with a mix of bravado and boredom, he admits. Most of June was dull, just deer and rodents passing by. But in July, I heard a steady thumping like a slow clock and jumped up to investigate, thinking I might catch a grizzly visiting me. He checks, finds nothing, and assumes it could be the bear, though he's only ever hunted small game back home. Still, he's confident he'd notice a bear if it was nearby. Gotta say, this guy's got bear fever real bad. Yeah, just like his dad wanted him to be a hunter. His dad's hunting, mainly for water, while he's dreaming of catching a beast that may or may not be out there. He's got a bit of a fever, eager to prove himself. He talks about a neighbor, Thomas, who's hunting bears in Oregon, and how he was offered to stay in his cousin's cabin for the summer. The mountains and forests they're seen as magnificent, almost mythical, with tall trees and rushing rivers. He admits, I'm not a hunter like my dad or even my cousin. I accepted that I'd need to find another way to make my fortune, though I wished I could hunt and earn respect. But I took comfort in doing simple things, reading and painting, my true passions. One night, a storm rolls in, and he huddles in bed. But then, strange noises start, loud clunks and an awful smell that gets worse. At first, he's curious, maybe thinking it's just a branch, but the scent turns suffocating and the noises grow louder, more violent. He rushes out, only to find the source of the noise has stopped but the scent lingers. Over time, he notices the sounds change rhythm, sometimes slow, sometimes quick, always unsettling. He's convinced something's out there, perhaps a witch, or maybe even Bigfoot, and he begins to wonder if he's in over his head. He jokes about witches flying and shooting them with shotguns, absurd, but he's desperate to explain the strange noises. Still, he's uneasy, and one night, the noises become more aggressive crashes, the ceiling creaks, and the foul smell is overpowering. Panicked, he runs outside, leaving his rifle behind, to find only darkness, rain, and that horrible stench. He briefly considers the unthinkable, what if it's a mummy or some cursed creature? But he dismisses that, thinking of animals like skunks, though he jokes about what would happen if Bigfoot smelled worse than a skunk itself. Then his mind drifts to Bigfoot's reputation for a foul odor, and he wonders, what if it's him? The story's getting intense now. He sees a large, shadowy figure looming near a fallen deer, illuminated by lightning. It's terrifying yet mesmerizing. He raises his rifle, heart pounding, only to realize it's a mother bear with her cubs, not the monster he feared. She and her babies are together, wild and fierce, but she doesn't seem threatened by him yet. He's torn. He wants to hunt but also feels pity. He aims but hesitates, realizing that killing her would be wrong, especially with her young nearby. Fear plays with his mind, but he respects the mama bear, gazing at her as she leads her cubs away. He reflects, maybe I was lucky to see her in her true habitat, living free. Perhaps they den nearby, and I might see them again before I leave this wild land. He's no hunter, just an observer now, content to watch her forage. The peaceful day soothes him, and he feels a strange comfort in respecting such majestic creatures. That night, a cold wind blows through, and he ends up in bed, realizing he's come face to face with something far beyond himself, a land of giants and legends, and he's lucky just to witness it. But then, as he's drifting into sleep, strange noises return, louder, more violent. He hears a heavy, rhythmic crashing against his cabin. The foul smell intensifies, nearly choking him. He stands at the door, shivering, gun in hand, unsure if he should run or hide. He considers what could cause this, maybe a large animal, a spirit, or something even more sinister. He dismisses ideas of mummies or witches, but can't shake the feeling that something unnatural is in the woods. Lightning flashes again, revealing the outline of a monstrous beast that reaches out from the shadow's claws, digging into a tree, fur matted and muddy, eyes glowing with fury. It vanishes as fast as it appeared, leaving him trembling on the porch. He's frozen, fear grips him. Is this Bigfoot, or something worse? He reflects that in a showdown, Bigfoot's speed and cunning would make him nearly impossible to catch. He shoots, the creature snarls and retreats, injured but alive. He's haunted by the feeling that this isn't the first time that thing's been hurt, that it's a survivor, a ghost in the woods. When he finally dares to check, his savior, the mother bear, has disappeared, leaving a trail of blood. He hopes she's still alive, but he knows he can't stay. He leaves at dawn, grateful just to have escaped, and swears he won't return to that cursed forest. It's the land of giants and they want to keep it that way. Now tell me, are you scared? Wow, that was a killer story, absolutely gripping. Yeah, it's a neat tale, and I love that it keeps things grounded, realistic. Then bam, the monster shows up, and it's abrupt, terrifying, perfect. And the part with Bigfoot, totally believable, just quick enough to keep us hooked without dragging it out. Totally. It's like that game we played where Bigfoot just runs away at the last second. That's what makes it so fun. Yeah, I want to play that again. For real. Same here. And you're right, there aren't many stories about Bigfoot like this. I'd love to see a movie about it. Maybe a Western adventure with folks confronting the legend pure gold. You know what? If Gunnar Leavenworth writes that, Shane and I are in. I'll be the guy with the rifle, and Shane, you can be Bigfoot. And I'll be the witch, soaring over the trees, cackling the whole time. Now that's a movie I'd pay to see. Thanks for tuning into this short season of Are You Spooked? We appreciate all your support. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes on the woods.